welcome back to the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast. On today's episode, I have a squeaky clean episode. In fact, I have a dry cleaning episode. I have an Omaha staple present with me. I have Casey and Chris Walker, Vice Presidents of Max I Walker. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Great. Thanks for having us, Dylan.
Appreciate you guys taking the time to come on out and be a part of the show. Of course, I got to dive right into it here because I'm not an Omaha native, and some of our viewers here aren't either. So let's dive right in and ask you guys, what is Max I Walker, and how long have you guys been servicing the Omaha community?
It's a long story. I'll take just the initial
half and half.
Yeah, half and half. So our great-great-grandfather was Max I Walker. Fifth generation, Casey and I are.
Nice.
He was sent to Omaha as a piano repair guy from Kansas City, ended up staying for a handful of reasons, loaned a gentleman what we believe was $5,000, and this had been 1917, so it was a lot.
So quite a money.
Anyhow, guy couldn't pay him back and said, I've got a dry cleaning store you can have. And so he took the dry cleaning store, and the rest is 108 years of history.
Yeah, that's incredible.
A lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
Not very many businesses make it to 108 years old. And I would just piggyback on him that, that has everything to do with the community of Omaha as much as it does the Walker family and our ability to operate a business for that long. If we weren't in Omaha, who knows if we made it to the fifth generation. So it's a good partnership between us and the community.
Yeah, I love it. And everything that you guys do back towards the community, we'll be touching on here a little bit later in the show, but unbelievable. And it's really prevalent why you guys have been a staple for well over 150 years by this point, or about right? About 108. 108. I was like, 150? Yeah, that sounded a little overshot there.
We retired.
By the time you're handing off, it would be like, hey, 150, it's your guys's?
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. So I'm a little curious. Was this just born in the genes here, got to be a part of the business? Was it more just handed over to you? Or did you just find a calling or a drive along the way to really incorporate your guys' selves into the business?
I think there's a lot of individuality there.
Yeah.
Casey and I are 8 years apart, so we lived different, lives clearly. But I think at the end, it all kind of came full circle in its own way for both of us. I would tell you that my dad was very keen on me finding whatever made me happy in life.
Yeah.
There was never any pressure to come into the company. And, like every other kid, I wanted to be a firefighter and then get married and then whatever. And kind of grew up in college and realized, you know what, this is a pretty prideful deal. And working for your old man is, it's got its ups and downs, but there's a lot more ups than downs. And so that's what made sense for me at that point.
Yeah.
Love it.
I would echo his point. Pride would be the number one reason for me. I grew up with intentions of doing other things. I never, until it hit me in the face, I never really thought I was going to work in the family business. But I had always worked in the family business from the time I was 14. There's no labor laws when it's a family business. I was always working, right? And and that gave me, and that gave Chris as well, a kind of a unique advantage in running a company that from every level. I've done every job there is, and so that helps me, communicate with our staff at a level of understanding and empathy. I've been there, I get it. But at the end of the day, I grew up with my name all over town, and that was a sore spot for me as a kid. And the older I got, the more it became a point of pride. And to understand what a fifth generation family-owned business really is and how hard it is to get there, we're standing on some pretty tall shoulders of the family members that came before us. And, I go to bed at night thinking, I better not screw this up. We have a lot to be proud of, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
I love it. I love the kind of just full circle came back for both of you there. And I think it's always funny that as kids, we always hate when we're associated with things. It's not me. Oh, that's not me. Yeah. I don't know why. I've never understood that rational thought. Like it's
you want to make your own mark.
I guess I get it.
I think you missed that. There's a disconnect. Like, well, you can make your own mark
and still,
as part of something, right?
I think so too. But I love that. I grew up doing family business as well. I grew up in carpentry and construction out in the Sandhills.
Awesome.
Me and my brother are 4 years apart. Fortunately, neither one of us have circled back into the construction industry. I don't think either neither one of our bodies would take it by this point.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah, I jokingly tell people that I've got the body of like an 85-year-old from climbing roads with a bag of shingles. So,
I bet.
it's no good. But that's where I digressed, went to radio, then later found insurance as a calling here. So,
Awesome.
We all land somewhere.
we all got to land somewhere, right? But I do love it because I get to talk to amazing businesses like you guys and get the stories and the whys behind. It's really, really awesome because you guys have a wide swath of services. I was going to say a laundry list and make a bad pun here.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
But I do want to start off here with just your dry cleaning side, because that was quite the drop down just in itself of what you guys do handle. So just a little toss up here. What are the items you're equipped to handle for dry cleaning? Because not every dry cleaners are the same.
Sure. I'll take this one. So in the retail dry cleaning operation, we can essentially clean almost anything, right?
Love that.
We're unique in the fact that we operate majority plants, meaning we're doing most of the cleaning on site in our facilities. And we also have a variety of different types of plants. So we have operations that can specifically clean drapes and comforters, do reticking on feather pillows, clean the feathers and put it back in a new pillowcase. Basically, you name it, and we can clean it. If you come to our store, we might go, I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, 108 years gives you a lot of institutional knowledge on how to get stuff clean, and we have employees that have been working for us for 65 years. That's not an over-exaggeration.
Wow.
Leroy Lovely is 94 years old. He will still pick up the phone if I ask him, hey, have you ever cleaned something like this? You bet your butt we've cleaned it at some point in time. So we're really happy to be able to provide any level of service. But that goes from traditional suits and ties, dresses, formal wedding gowns.
Wedding dresses are a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Wedding dresses are a big deal, very specific. There's so many different ones. So we have a person, Fonda, who's been with us for 40 years, who cleans just wedding gowns for us. She does an amazing job. There's people driving from Lincoln to come up here and get them cleaned by her. But anything you can think of, including socks and underwear, towels, sheets, through the wash and fold program. Basically, if you can get it dirty, we can get it clean.
I love that. I just wanted to make sure so you don't have everybody walking up there with about 6 bags of laundry and we're like, hey.
We can still do that.
I love it. And I'm, this question never made it on there because I didn't know a little bit of the insight here, but I'm a little curious just hearing some of those stories. Hey, we got a guy who's been there for 65 years, a gal who's been there for 40 years. What do you think has kept people there so long? What about the culture has just spoken to them?
I think, at least I hope it is, I think it's direct interaction with the family and ownership on a regular basis. And that has been a culture for every generation, but it's obviously a big deal to our father, who's made it a big deal to us. Our offices are not in some ivory tower. Before he came here, he was in the plant working with some people. Before I came in here, I was in a different plant working shoulder to shoulder with some people. And I think the special sauce is, being able to communicate directly with your boss as if he's just a buddy. And at some points, that's not exactly what it is, but generally speaking.
But to have that feel.
Right. Yeah. And, and we look at them, like family, and we're doing things, whatever we can to help them out on outside of work and things like that. It's just it's a cultural deal. And if we can get somebody to work for us for a year, odds are we can get them to work for us for 30 years.
It seems that way.
You're in, you get it, and
Sounds like the mob over here. They just keep reeling me back in.
Close.
Just close.
I have one more thing to add.
Yeah.
It's just in a family business, it's not a corporate environment.
Right.
And so when things come up or somebody needs support, whatever, I go to every funeral I can possibly attend for anybody that's a part of our organization, their family members, what have you. It's important to us because we spend more time with the people we work with than we do our own family. And so it's important that we treat everybody as such and we all get along as such.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much resonates and echoes actually what Steph had said on the episode with Project Intentional. She just basically was The owners. That was her answer. She's like, the only reason we're all there and the only reason we keep it going is the owners. They're amazing. We love them. And so it just resonated from the top down that I love that both the attitudes have aligned almost seemingly perfect from the outside in here. So yeah, it sounds great, and it looks even better when you go into Max Eye Walker as well, because something I found really cool on your site is that you guys offer laundry pickup and delivery services.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that helps a major chunk of the community, anybody who maybe has disability issues or maybe just the elderly. Mm-hmm. So my question for that is, are all these services, or are the laundry pickup services, available for anybody, or are there any restrictions to those?
No restrictions except for geography.
Makes sense.
So we're not doing pickup and delivery in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, you're not going to go out to Taylor, Nebraska?
No.
The 3.5 hour drive? Come on.
Unfortunately, businesses have to be profitable, no matter how slim. So it depends on geography. But aside from that, it's a pretty simple service. We're there on Monday. Your stuff's coming back on Wednesday. We're there on Tuesday. Your stuff's coming back on Friday. Depending on where you are in the metro area, will dictate the day of pickup and delivery. But we go to office buildings, law towers, minor medical buildings. We go into a lot of retirement communities. Yep. You made that point. That's a great service. A lot of times people are setting those up for their parents because, one, they want to dress the way they've always dressed, and there's some dignity in your elder years that you deserve, right? And for it's not an exorbitant amount of money, but for a little bit of money, you can still have your shirt pressed, and you can still feel like you're waking up and you're doing your daily routine that you've been used to your whole life, and that's really nice. We don't turn anybody away.
I love that.
If there's a need, we'll figure out how to service it.
I love that, and I think that's really, really amazing to have that open door kind of system with that. Granted, geography. If you're calling from Lincoln, sorry.
We've got something good to say about geography, though. We found a couple formal wear stores. One example would be in Denison. That this guy has no dry cleaner in Denison. Our uniform rental, which I'm sure we'll get to later, we operate there on a route basis, and so we found a way for him to give us the dry cleaning process, and here we bring it back. So
nice.
I think the theme here is creative solutions.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
If we can.
Yeah, that's amazing too. Like stars aligned kind of moment there. Yeah, love that. Now, something I feel like I stumbled on, maybe a secret here. Walker Wednesday. There was not a lot of info on there, so I figured I'd get it directly from the source here. What is Walker Wednesday?
Walker Wednesday is a deal that you should probably have to be an employee to get, as deep as this is. But at all of our locations across the metro on Wednesdays, if you come in and you have 4 pieces of dry cleaning, so a button-down shirt wouldn't count, but with the exception of that, almost everything else does count. We're trying to encourage people to bring in that extra piece. So if you've got a suit jacket, a pair of pants, and a sweater that you want done, well, maybe that one sweater that's in the corner that has the stain on it might need to find its way into our store. And you're essentially getting it for free because it's 25% off of any order of 4 or more that you bring in on Wednesday. Wednesdays get busy. This is a very popular thing. And so sometimes, we always do same day service. If it's in by 9, it's done that same day, guaranteed by 5, but typically earlier. Wednesday, we push that limit a little bit. So if somebody if somebody at the store says, hey, can I maybe get this to you tomorrow? Just ask that you say, if you don't need it, we appreciate that because it does get busy on Wednesdays. But it gets busy because it's such a good deal.
Well, I couldn't imagine why it'd get so busy with a 25% off 4 items. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think we should mention it's like a verbal coupon. You've got to whisper the secret words, Walker Wednesday, in order to get that discount.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey, that just makes it all the better because if you're tuning in today, you've already got the passphrase.
You got it down.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a little like the In-N-Out secret menu.
Right. Get it animal style at Walker. Now, I did catch on your site, too, that you have uniform rental. You were just talking about that. I want to pick your brains on that one, though. What kind of uniforms do you really offer with that, and how do viewers really utilize this rental service?
So it is a B2B service.
Okay.
What we would do is, let's say, a car dealership, which is kind of our bread and butter on that side. Car dealership says our technicians look like this. It says Bob here and Honda here, and they all look the same. And then the service writers wear this uniform. It is a weekly deal. So if you're a Monday customer, you turn in your dirties on Monday. We bring back the cleans the following Monday. Along with that comes everything you can imagine at the car dealership example, which would be the uniforms, the mats you walk over when you walk in the door, the towels they're using to clean things up, the dust mops, the wet mops. We do first aid. It's as many of those services as we can provide, we do. That's been a big deal for us. Started that in 1974, so that was 50 years old last year.
Yeah.
I need my applause button, man. You guys are killing it.
We weren't around then, so we can't take the credit.
But you got to take the credit for keeping it alive and going, though.
Yeah.
To that end, we're attacking the food service industry, food production. So we have a lot of big food producing customers in town, bakeries, candy processors, bacon processors. That's a real need in terms of safety protocols and stuff. So we're a certified laundry in that we can say, based on government standards, you're getting back something that's cleaned to a certain standard for the food producers. So,
which is huge.
Yeah.
Because you don't want just anybody handing you a pair of clean clothes.
Sure,
No, I love that, man. And so I guess before I dive into my next question here, where can we find you guys here? And I'm not saying on social media, anything like that just yet here. Where can we find you in Omaha? I know you guys have an abundance of locations. You don't have to rattle them all. We can always have the website linked down below, of course. You can check it out. But what are some areas that maybe people maybe need to capitalize on here?
COVID restructured.
Right.
We used to have 22 locations on the dry cleaning side. And we had to take a long, hard look at the world, as most businesses and individuals had to in that moment in time. But we're proud that we're still servicing every community as we were bifurcated in the city of Omaha. So we have a location in Northwest Omaha on 156th and Maple. We have an Elkhorn location on 204th and Pacific. We have a location on 180th and Center, 168th and Harrison, kind of handling the Millard area. Location in Dundee, location in Countryside Village, right across from Westside. Location in Benson, location in Council Bluffs, location in Bellevue, location in Papio. You get the gist.
So
if you are in a community in Omaha, we don't want to be any farther than 3 miles from you. That was kind of the goal. And so if you're 3.2 miles, I apologize.
Shucks.
You're gonna have to run a 5K to get your stuff to the dry cleaner. But
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and on the uniform side, we are in the southern part of South Dakota, Sioux City.
Wow.
All of western Iowa to Des Moines, western Iowa to Des Moines back towards Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island, Kearney, all the way down to Fairbury and that part of Kansas, the northern part of Kansas.
Wow.
As well. So
helping out not only the Nebraska community, but branching into the other states too. I love that.
We're very proud of the uniform plant as well. So we often do tours there for prospective customers, current customers, doesn't matter who it is.
Where's that at?
That is on 94th and I. So you can't miss it. There's a big building. There's a Max Out Walker sign out front. But our production manager does a pretty good job there of keeping it always tour ready, as we like to say, because it's an impressive deal. Nobody's ever been in a commercial laundry before. There's no reason to, but once you have been, this is pretty impressive. Washing machine's bigger than you'd ever seen.
Right, I'm gonna have to check this out because in a way it's actually reminding me, because I went to college for media. I've had a radio and TV background. But I also worked adjacent to a newspaper, and I'd never seen the newspaper machines.
The press.
Until I went in there one day. They needed some help running some stuff, and I came in, and they're like, so this is where everything happens. And I'm sitting there going, whoa.
Right. It's like Willy Wonka.
It really is, man. So I'm excited. I'm going to have to come check this out. I'm going to have to schedule up a tour.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Happy to come by.
Yeah. So we have had, and I did a little diving on this one here. You guys are doing Max's Coats for Kids here. Now, this is a different change than what you guys have normally done, and we'll kind of touch on that here in just a little bit, but we're going to highlight Max's Coats for Kids to start here. Where can we donate, and what's the criteria for donations?
Yeah, so we're asking for newer, gently used coats. There's a need for coats in this community that goes beyond just children's coats. So any coat that you have will accept. It will still find a home and a good home, hopefully. But we want to focus on kids coats just because that's the greatest need. Kids coats change over. Adults typically get to the size they're at, and barring a Thanksgiving meal, they typically stay within a range where the cost to outfit your children in new coats every year as they continue to grow is a really big burden. And so that's kind of the niche we would like to do. But any coat we're going to find a good home for. We kind of switched to coats for kids from the Ultra Chic Boutique. We had done dresses for 15 years in Omaha. And when we started that program, that was a need in the community. And it's a good thing, but it became a quandary for us because that market, as far as a need for people in Omaha, had kind of changed. There had been more dress drives, and so the need became less and less year over year. And if we're going to put all this effort and all of our staff and the Max I. Walker family is going to get behind something, we want to really know that what we're doing is filling a void in the community. And we took a step back last year and identified that coats in the community was probably a bigger and more urgent need than the formal dresses. And so we just decided to pivot, and it's still in our wheelhouse because we know how to clean anything and we know how to distribute it. And Project Intentional is an awesome partner to partner with for this. And so it just, the stars aligned and we thought, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I do love that it is, again, gently used or new coats. Going out and donate. I always use myself as an example of how strenuous children can be because I am about 6'2"-ish in this era. When I was a kid, I went from like this tall to this tall to this tall, and I jumped. Oh man, my parents hated me because I was outgrowing my 4-year-old brother, or my 4-year older brother.
Oh wow!
Like I was outgrowing his size. He was more stocky build. I was more tall and narrow. And so I was like, some of the hand-me-downs were like, flag football belt pulled to the tightest and then wrapped around so I could hide the string there. But so I always use that as the example of like, it is a very big need in our community because kids grow so fast and they all grow different.
Right.
So I love that that's your shift now and that's focus going forward here and pushing into our community to really help solve a need that's out there. Now, of course, we kind of answered my follow-up to that of why you shift off of Ultra Chic Boutique, but thanks for answering into that as well because, again, I think you hit it right on the head. With places like Cinderella's gown bridal dress rental to places that just do these drives for schools individually to give them prom dresses and tuxedos and things like that. I think you really hit it on the head that just looking at everything outside in, it makes sense to kind of just take a little shift here after 15 years. Yeah. I love that is the flexibility that Max I. Walker really demonstrates and how you guys navigated COVID as well. I think kind of reinforces that for our viewers at home. Now, social media, of course, is out there. It can be our best friend. It can be our worst enemy. But in this case, it's our best friend because we get to go follow Max I. Walker. Where can we find you on social media, though?
We're on all the social media. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. On the uniforms,
YouTube?
On the uniform side specifically, the commercial laundry space, if you're unfamiliar with it, is incredible. Like his point to our laundry, we have 200,000 garments in service, and cleaning those weekly is a task. And there is a lot of technology and a lot of really big machines that go into making that happen. Our YouTube page is phenomenal. Our marketing director, Steph, is lights out. I mean, she's one of the best in the industry. When we go to conventions, people go, "Oh my gosh, you guys' social media is incredible." And it's for good reason. So I would just encourage people, if you want to see some really cool videos and snippets and how we do what we do, our YouTube page is a wonderful place to do that, as well as LinkedIn, where we're constantly updating all the things we're doing in the community, but also highlighting our employees that are standout employees and stories of Fonda saving a wedding dress before the wedding, or our manager Missy out at Elkhorn checking Nextdoor app and realizing that somebody somebody had an event on Sunday that they needed their clothes and they didn't realize that the one day a week we're closed is Sunday, she drove all the way out there from Bellevue and got that person their stuff. So we try and highlight those awesome stories of our people going above and beyond for their customers.
I love that. And I think that, again, highlights the culture we had started this conversation with.
Absolutely.
Employees don't just do that. Like, we all live in a real world. Employees don't just do that. Not unless you really care about where you're at, what you're doing, or who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I love that. That just speaks volumes to you guys. So I always love this question because I just turn the table over to you guys. Events. If you're part of any, or if you have some big coming up that you'd like to highlight and show off for you, now's the time.
I think Coats for Kids is
Coats
what
for
comes
Kids,
to mind
perfect.
immediately for me.
Biggest.
And I would say, we're partnering with Project Intentional for Coats for Kids. Any Coats and Max I Walker related effort towards Project Intentional is great, but I would encourage everybody to look into Project Intentional itself.
Yeah.
When Steph, our marketing director, brought Project Intentional to me, I was unaware of what it is, who they are, what they do. You read a mission statement, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when you really roll up your sleeves and dive into everything they're doing for this community, it's incredible. It is really, really based in, I think, Omaha values and real concerted effort to give back to this community. So I would encourage everybody to go look at Project Intentional.
Definitely.
Yeah, and hey, if you're on the Spotify playlist, she's only a couple episodes down. You can talk with Sasha and myself and Steph and get their perspective on things. Yeah, and Sasha's such a great human. Like, oh my gosh, so nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, she found the right calling of going to nonprofit. She's best suited for it, I think. Yeah. All right. My last couple burning questions here for you before we get to some fun questions. For those of us who don't ever get to see behind the curtain, for you guys specifically, what's part of your jobs that you feel that never quite gets its recognition or maybe just the praise that you wish it did?
I feel very grateful that I get, I think, as much praise as is necessary. I think if I had to say one thing that might not get noticed or recognized, it does, I hope, by our employees, but from, outside of our culture would be what we started this with. The fact that, when I go home at night, I'm thinking about, an employee's struggle to make whatever get a custody of his daughter and how I'm helping him, walk through a process that's difficult like that. I would do for a friend, and not really associate that with the employee-employer relationship. That stuff stays with you, and that's what I think makes it. You hear people say, "I eat, sleep, and breathe it." That's what it is. It's, actually caring. I don't think that doesn't deserve praise. It's just outside of my wife, I don't think people recognize that that's part of it.
That's a great one to recognize, though.
Yeah.
100%. I would, my feelings on that would align entirely. If you're not, if you don't work in a small family business, or you didn't grow up around one, the disconnect between human being and corporation and profit is all you've ever known, and that's what gives me light in my world. That's what I want to be a part of every day. And if we were just in it to make money, I wouldn't be happy. And so I don't think that deserves recognition or praise, but it's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And to Chris's point, it's a really good thing to go to bed at night knowing that you're making a difference in somebody's life for the positive.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Those are great points. And I think that again, speaks volumes to Max I Walker as a company from the top down. So love that. And into my next question here, because sometimes we get some bumps and stumbles along the way. What has been some challenges or obstacles that you've had to overcome for the organization or for those you serve?
I'm going to do... COVID's the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah. It's the big old elephant that's getting in the corner
I'll
there.
take the uniform rental side of COVID. So the businesses we serve, light manufacturing, food production services, car dealerships, the vast majority of those outside of, we do some restaurants as well, were deemed essential businesses. And so that, by consequence, made us an essential business. Those first 2 or 3 months of trying to navigate, giving our guys a legal form to put in their truck in case they get pulled over saying you're breaking our lockdown protocol,
right,
was extremely interesting,
Well, yeah, so was that a real, like, you getting stopped at the gates, like, hey, whoa, we've got a lockdown going on kind of thing?
It was a reality.
Really?
It wasn't very frequent, but
Sure.
we were well prepared to say, look, we are deemed, the laundry industry was deemed an essential industry thereafter. Navigating all of that and being really thankful that we had diversified our customer base and our business in a way that allowed us to navigate that in a way that, didn't disrupt our customers in any meaningful way. That was one hurdle. I think, when you look at our company history, so from 1917 until 2025, you've got 2 world wars, the Great Depression, 2 pandemics.
Vietnam was in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then everybody before us figured out a way to do it, and we all rolled up our sleeves and did that. It was, I would argue, dramatically more difficult for him on the dry cleaning side, making the decisions he had to make at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that.
It was, COVID was hard for everybody.
Yeah.
And in the dry cleaning space, I think, obviously people going into the office is big for what you're wearing and what maybe needs to be clean. But it's also events, and it's weddings, and it's unfortunately funerals and all those kind of things that people are dressing up for, and that really drives the dry cleaning market. And obviously in the span of about a week, that kind of went to zero.
Yeah.
And so there was some things to navigate. I would just say, was it difficult? Yes, but was it rewarding? Yes. I think the path that we took was one that protected our employees and protected our business as best we could. And we went around, I personally went to every single person that was going to be infected in one way or another. And we had a lot of employees at that time operating 22 stores and explained what's going to happen next, gave them the resources. I've already set up your guys' unemployment. Here's 2 weeks pay so that we've got time to make this happen. Here's a month lead before any doors get shut. Here's my cell phone. Everybody's going to have access that they need to navigate this situation, and we're going to communicate constantly. We're going to set up a help desk at our office to help you navigate all these kind of things. Was it difficult? Yes, but am I proud of the way we handled it? And do I think we did everything with dignity and fairness? I do. And we came out stronger as an organization because everybody had to pull together to make it happen.
Yeah, it sounds like you went about it the right way instead of just, okay, well, check your inbox. Half of you are going to receive a bad email. Right. Good knowing you. See ya. Yeah. So I think you went about it literally the best way you probably could have for something like that. Hopefully we never experience in our lifetimes again.
I sure hope.
Yeah, what a crazy thing to just have in the middle of life. Oh yeah, by the way, everything's on fire. You can't go outside.
It's our generation's deal to brag about.
Yeah, pretty much.
We made it through that.
Well, I mean, hey, we made it through Y2K, we made it through the Aztec calendar. We're 3 for 3 now. I love it. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. There are a lot of great moments. So I'm kind of curious for each of your perspectives on this question. What's been one of the best moments that Max I. Walker has given to you personally?
I would say my best moment happens probably once a month. It's kind of like when you go to a concert and you go, oh, that was the best concert I've ever seen. And then the next concert you go to, that's the best concert you've ever seen. I'm in a position to change people's lives for the better all the time. And whether it's watching somebody that we hired a year ago move up the ladder and take responsibility and take life by the horns and fix whatever was wrong in their life and turn into somebody they never thought they could be, and that I get to have just a small part in that is awesome for me. And I'm lucky that gets to happen all the time.
I love that.
And the more it happens, it's just like that concert. That was the best feeling in the world. That's awesome. And I think a lot of people come to us that have not been able to trust their employer or trust maybe anybody in their life. And to earn their trust and then, be a good steward of their trust and help them do the right thing not just for us, but for themselves, for their family, is awesome. And I love being a part of it. And it happens all the time.
I love that. That's awesome. I'm getting excited about it.
That's the secret sauce. So we treat our employees, the family is, we say what we're going to do, we do it. It's that simple. And we treat the employees that way. We treat ourselves that way. We treat the customers that way. It is what it is. And, like he said, that ends up bringing a lot of valuable moments, get a hug from somebody and know they figured it out. For me, I'm thinking along with all of what Casey said, because those are really special moments. Being able to work with our grandfather before he passed away in 19 was super special. When you have 3 generations in an office, it's more dynamic, obviously, but it's just a lot of fun. Those were special moments for me, hearing what somebody that's had 60 plus years in the industry has to say as your grandfather. He's going to give you a different opinion than your dad does.
Isn't it always funny too that grandpa will always be like, well, your dad doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's it. I don't know how to say it, but that's exactly what it is.
We love it.
I remember my grandpa doing that. We'd go out and visit him in Canyon City, and we'd be doing repairs and stuff for him. My old man and I climbing around on his roof. And he goes, "Oh, that your old man, I taught him how to do that." Well, I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know that, Grandpa." He goes, "Well, he's doing it wrong." You better tell him then, Grandpa.
Those are the best.
And then after that, he'd go try to steal a piece of pie. Gotta love him. Now, my very last burning business question of the day here for you is, what is something here that you want us viewers and listeners to know more about, either when it comes to Max Eye Walker or about your industry in general?
Well, I'm going to backfill some gaps, I think, on all the stuff that we provide. So yeah. Chris talked about the commercial B2B side of our business. It's, I think obviously based on the geography I explained, you can understand it's a pretty big business, but we provide just mats and mops. If you have a front door of your office building, those mats on the ground, the mops, the first aid you're getting, paper towels, toilet paper, soap in the bathroom, all of that stuff we provide. I think a lot of people, when they look at facility services like that, they immediately jump to a Fortune 500 company and think that that's kind of what big corporations do. Well, you can do business like that locally here in Omaha at the same prices with what we believe to be better service and keep your dollars in the community that are going to get reinvested into this community. I think that's important to note.
And one of the best parts is, hey, if something's wrong, I can come talk to you.
Correct.
I don't have to deal with the 1-800 number for 45 minutes.
That's the entire sales pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Like, I can come talk to you. And I think that's one of the best things about Omaha and the businesses here. We all kind of share that attitude. It's like, well, if something's wrong, I'm just going to go call them or I'm going to go talk to them.
Yep.
Like, I know where they I know where they live,
Yep.
I love that.
Absolutely.
You want to add anything into that?
I think there's just an interesting aspect to it. Growing up in Omaha and having a 100-plus-year-old dry cleaning outfit in Omaha. In Omaha, almost nobody knows, not almost nobody, but most people don't know that we do uniform rental, right?
Right.
Because it's just, we've been dry cleaning here so long. When we go out into those outer reaches, I'd say if we go any more than 20 miles outside of Omaha, we're the uniform guy, and absolutely nobody knows that we do that.
Yes.
And it's kind of refreshing to get out into one of our country routes and be like, oh yeah, you guys are the best uniform guys. I'm like, they don't even know we do drag cleaning. It's a little role reversal.
Our uniform sales staff really appreciates that. They like going to Sioux City and being the uniform people.
I was going to say, I'm sure that's probably a good little note on the day. It's like, I'm the guy.
That's right. I'm the guy.
I'm the guy. Yeah. No, I love that. That's a pretty fun thing to kind of take away from it too.
Definitely. Just
little highlights on the delivery routes like that. Alrighty, business questions done and out of the way with. Toss them out of here. Okay. We get some fun personal questions now. So, since there's a couple of you across here, these questions have been asked on the table already. These have not been. You're welcome to pull 3 cards from the box, and we'll kind of go back and forth with the questions that we get. If it's a bad question, you can pull a new one.
Okay. If it's a bad question.
I say that.
No. When I think we're playing card games like this at my house.
I say that because there are some bad ones.
We're sticking with it. Oh, God. Okay. Which of your personality traits would you like to change? Right out of the gate.
Boy.
I would say basically what I was getting at before we pulled this, where I'm like, you know what? 3 cards is 3 cards. We're not redrawn.
A little stubborn.
I really walked right into that one. Yeah, I would say personality. It's good to be malleable and willing to adapt. And sometimes I'm not, and that could use a change.
Sometimes that's a good thing, though.
Sometimes life smacks you in the face with a card.
Yeah, I think mine is probably a little too nonchalant sometimes, a little too silly sometimes. I got to be a little more serious. So, you know.
I feel like you handled that just fine.
I'm a Ferris Bueller type. I'm like, life's too short, you know? You got to have some fun.
Don't give that away. That's a
Right.
good one. I'm going to have to just dial my OCD down. I don't want to change it because
That's
it's
fair.
part of who I am.
That's fair.
But if I dialed it down to like...
My girlfriend's the same way. She's like, if I can just dial it down.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, what's the worst job you've ever had?
Well, guys.
So I've only ever had one job.
had 2.
I would say of the tasks that go into
there you go.
all things laundry, I would say sorting hangers by the boiler room in our old plant that was downtown next to the baseball stadium would probably be the worst.
Which we should predicate at, that was a punishment for the old man. That's not where we have people. He's sorting
Right.
hangers.
That was just, hey,
Correct.
you need to go in the corner.
Sorting hangers, I think, is probably everybody's least favorite task, but we try to mix it up. Everybody's downtime is spent doing that so that it's not one person's specific duty. And typically doing it in a comfort-controlled area is protocol. But if I spoke back to my mother, it was very clear where I was going to be sorting hangers.
You're standing next to the boiler. Sweat that punishment out.
Sweat the punishment out.
I'm going to have to use my only other job I ever had at a restaurant as a busboy, which wasn't terrible, but it was worse than what I'm doing now, so I guess it qualifies.
Yeah, that counts.
The manager was stealing tips from me and my buddies, and we figured it out, and we walked out one night.
Yeah.
Which
The
was
heck
in
with
high
that
school,
noise.
I felt real good.
Yeah, you felt like a man there. It's like, all right.
What about you?
Mine, I'm probably going to have to say one of two. So either... I worked at a Casey's for 48 hours. I don't want to bash Casey's or anything like that, but this particular one just was not it. I was not feeling it. There was something off in the cooler. I just was not vibing with it. Either that or Menards that I used to work at in college. Because I was a college student doing broadcasting, so I had a lot of after-school things to do. I would go into work, and they're like, "Hey, you grew up in construction. You're in the lumber department." Mm-hmm. Perfect. I can tell anybody what it's lumber. Right. About a month into me working there, they're like, "Hey, our delivery coordinator quit. You want it?"
Oh no.
And I was like, "I'm a college kid. If that's gonna be fine."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. We'll give you $1 more raise." And I'm like, "Okay." I went into work the next shift. Where were you? You were supposed to be here at 8 a.m. I was like,
I told you.
yeah, I've got classes. Yeah. So then that turned into just a whole nother rhyme or reason not to work there. Yeah. So those are probably my two worst. Outside of that, I've been pretty lucky. After that, I found my way into radio. Those jobs were all pretty nice. Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate with jobs that I've had. There's only ever been a couple of thorns in the road. Okay. Yeah, so I consider myself lucky. All right, what's our final one? You got a big wordy one over there.
It's an awful word. If you knew you wouldn't get, it's a this or that though.
Oh, okay.
If you knew you wouldn't get hurt, would you rather skydive or view sharks from an underwater cage?
I'm skydiving 100%.
I am 100% skydiving as well. One, because I think the thrill of flying through the air, knowing that I'm not going to be injured at whatever top speed for 185 pounds can be, is more fun than getting to see a shark underwater.
This one is super fun for me. I almost want to take a picture and show my daughter.
Go for it.
I've done both of these things, except I've swam with sharks outside of a cage in the open.
Maniac. Maniac.
There'd have to be a third one. Skydiving was an absolute blast. And like you said, you're going pretty fast.
See, I'm about that. Skydiving, going that speed, I'm with it.
And then we were reef snorkeling, and my daughter, who always had wanted to cage swim with sharks. Cage swimming wasn't available when we were down there. And I'm like, well, let's go snorkeling. We go down and there's barracuda everywhere and sea turtles. There's this probably 8-foot shark about 5 feet below us. I come up and I grab her. I'm like, Charlie, my daughter, Charlie, you got to look down. There's a shark. And she loves sharks. And she's like, and just changed her mind. Flew back to the boat. I'm looking down. I'm like, it's right there. It's huge. And anyway.
Big skydive. I'm a big proponent of, we don't know what's in the ocean. We're not the apex predator in the ocean.
No, you're giving up a lot of control.
Knowing my luck, I'd be the guy that gets caught in the drift, just the drift, and I'm out in the middle of the ocean at that point. Yeah, that's my luck.
In a cage.
Yeah, in a cage. It clips, it drops to the bottom. I'm just stuck in it. That's me. We had some good questions today. Those were pretty fun. Now, my next question here for you is pretty fun. I like to pose this one as if I'm like a relative or I'm a friend of yours coming in from out of town. I've never seen Omaha. What do you consider your Mount Rushmore that I got to go check out while you're kind of freeing up your day?
Don't look at mine.
Is it a Mount Rushmore of all things Omaha, or we have a specific?
No, it can be restaurants, it can be bands, it can be anything.
Omaha. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we have to add the zoo, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to do the College World Series.
The number 1 and number 2 answers.
Yep, I bet they are. Now we're gonna get deeply personal. My Mount Rushmore of food would be La Casa Pizza.
Okay.
It's a must. It's like a family tradition. I grew up, when I turned like 22, I started figuring out that not everybody's family was like, well, we're eating La Casa and that's it. There's no other pizza place in Omaha. And I've slowly converted my wife. I'm still working on my in-laws and her family. We'll see how that works out.
Slowly.
And I would say the fourth would be the music scene in Omaha.
Yeah.
Whether that be, the Steel House or the Slowdown or the Waiting Room or the Astro. We have so many venues now, and they all do a wonderful job. And you can see almost any act that's traveling the United States, as long as you're willing to go on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I think that's really special. And there's plenty of other cities in the Midwest that they could stop at on their way from Chicago to Denver. And the fact that they choose Omaha, it says something about our community. I think we should support it and be proud of it.
I like that. That's a musical answer, not always on the show here, because I usually have to mention that we have a fine arts program that's really good. They do classical orchestras. Yep. They do a lot of great work downtown. So happy for the mentions there. What about you?
If we didn't already touch on this, which I know we did, we're brothers, and so he copied my homework to some degree. I'm going to tweak it a bit. I had CWS opening weekend.
Okay.
I think that's,
that is a special one.
If you're a baseball guy or gal, any game in that 2 weeks would be fun.
Even if you're just a big social guy.
Opening weekend, the people watching,
it's
and
everybody.
The food and the party, that was it for me.
Yeah, it is.
La Casa was honored. La Casa got to do it.
I love it.
We got to drill that home twice. In the same vein with food, the Drover. Cousins of our dad's family have owned that for a long time. If you just want a no frills, dark room, rancher style, whiskey marinated steak with a baked potato and a cold salad.
Now you're speaking my language.
There's been presidents in there. You can't beat it.
That's awesome.
And then my last one, I have the Holland Center, simply because when I was in college when that was built and was definitely touring with bands and seeing a lot more music than I'm able to now. And the acoustics in there, I think I was in a jazz theory class at UNO and went there we got like $5 concerts or whatever.
Nice.
I went to see David Byrne from Talking Heads, and my first time in there's not a bad seat in that house. Whether we go for symphonies, my wife and I, orchestras, or a concert, the Holland Center is world class. Absolutely.
Nice. It's on my radar now. I've never been. So, Again, being a Sand Hills kid natively, it was 3.5 hours to come to Omaha. So Grand Island was the big city. That wasn't only an hour. Oh, I love that. Good ones. Those are great suggestions. La Casa, I don't know if it's been mentioned on the show before, so shout outs to La Casa. Yeah.
If somebody's listening, I want at least a free slice.
Yeah, La Casa, hook them up. They're an Omaha staple too. Come on now.
We said it twice.
All right, my final question here for you, and I'll cut you free. I really appreciate the time you guys have taken out of your day today. What is something here in Omaha that you wish people either knew more about or just supported more?
There is a gal in my Rotary, Omaha West, where we are the best. They'd kill me if I didn't say that.
I just visited that Rotary.
Oh, really?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, you ought to come back this Friday.
I think we're actually working out how to join it here. So
2 weeks ago might have been when Stephanie Olson was doing Set Me Free Project. It is.
She's the one who invited me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Small world. So I'm gonna reiterate her Set Me Free project. That was really impressive to me the first time I heard about it a couple weeks ago at Rotary. And I think there is a vast need, clearly in the human trafficking department, but her niche in awareness up front and educational programs and all of that really, I think, is important. And I don't think they could ever have enough support. I think that's one of the best answers. And she is a firebrand of a human being. And
she's awesome.
You can know if you're supporting Set Me Free Set Me Free project, that Stephanie is going to take that and absolutely just go bonkers with it, which it can't get recognized enough.
I love that. What about you?
I'm going to go with the canned answer of, I just want, I think people from Omaha should appreciate just how good Omaha is. In my stage in my life, a lot of my friends are moving home from Los Angeles or New York, Chicago, Kansas City, what have you, and where work had taken them someplace and they're coming home to raise their families. And, I ask them, why are you moving back? And they kind of ask me, why did you not leave? And we come up with the same answers of, this is a really special place. And for a community of this size to have all of the things that it has is really incredible. There are not a lot of communities in America that are this size that can give you a taste of all those big cities and also have the values of a 5,000 person town. It's special and we should appreciate it.
Yeah, having all of that, and then you can still stop somebody on the street and ask them for a direction.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
right. Instead of just getting blown off or just walk past or getting the bird.
Yeah,
it checks so many boxes.
It really does. I love our community, and I think everybody does too. And we love those who are in it, of course, like the two across from me. We've had the distinct pleasure to sit down with Casey and Chris Walker, the vice presidents of Max I. Walker, what I consider an Omaha staple. So, gentlemen, first off, thank you for your time coming out today, being on the show and being a part of the program. Before I cut us all loose here today, is there anything you want to leave us and the viewers off with?
No. Well, we appreciate Omaha, to echo his point. It's the community that made us and has allowed us to foster what we do, and we just hope that we can communicate and give back as much as possible.
I love it.
Thanks for having us, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you guys for coming on. And of course, viewers, thank you for tuning in. We're, of course, going to have more next time right here on the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast. Hey, don't forget, be a friend, tell a friend, share this episode with one.